What do you think Putin's attitude is towards Donald Trump?
Honestly, I think he thinks of Trump as being just a really weak leader, and with a little bit of praise and a little bit of repeating things that are false that Trump wants to hear, he can win him over. That's what happened in Alaska, right? So in Alaska, Putin said, "I would have never invaded Ukraine had you been president." Um, and that's exactly what Trump wanted to hear. And then behind closed doors, as we learned later in his conversation with Sean Hannity, Putin went on and on about how the 2020 elections was stolen because of mail-in ballot, because of mail-in voting, right? Uh, and I just listened to the president talk about that, and I can't believe that he would be so gullible, honestly. I guess I should get used to it by now. But the other thing that happens in a normal meeting is that senior administration officials, SAOs, that's what they're called, from the White House, I used to play this role often when I worked at the White House, then call up journalists and tell them about what were the good things that happened in the meeting. The fact that they didn't do any of those things, they took no questions. And I don't have to tell you, you know how much President Trump loves questions. He loves those press conferences. He goes on and on and on. I get tired watching him sometimes, but he goes on and on. He canceled that, and then there was no, from talking to my journalist friends who are in Alaska, there was no reaching out because I don't think they wanted to report on what actually happened in that meeting, where President Trump actually began to accept the talking points of Putin. And I can tell you, Putin is an effective interlocutor. He is an effective speaker. He will go on and on about Russian history. He'll spin it in his own way. And if you don't know, what happened in the 15th century, and most even I don't, so most most presidents don't. It's hard to follow. In one meeting with Obama, he went on for 58 minutes in the beginning of the meeting before President Obama even had the chance to speak. So that's the way he rolls. I just fear that Trump accepted his, perverse notion of history, and then, that's what he's now trying to explain to the European leaders today.